All right, you got the center of your toe here. Cleft of your frog. This is from the distance of the cleft of your frog to the point of your heels is a pretty close range from the center punch to your toenail. If you were to measure that with a pair of calipers on a good balanced foot, I mean, it's going to change, but that's a good starting spot. If you go from here to here and here to here, it's going to be about where your toenails, because when you make that shoe, a balanced horseshoe, you're going to come right down through there, aren't you? Right? So if you got this foot, and this is 1.5 inches, and you do 1.25 inches, well, you're going to have a hard time making a balanced horseshoe that fits this foot when you go to it. Because if you make this heel meet up with this toenail, this branch is going to be tight. From the center of the cleft of the frog to the tip of the heel is a good starting spot on your toenail measurements from the center punch mark, right? Because when you make this horseshoe, you need to, a balanced horseshoe is going to come around, and this heel is going to bisect with the toenail. Because if this mark matches the toe of the foot and you make a balanced horseshoe, you ought to be somewhere in the ballpark when it goes to fitting. Because all these measurements are meeting up to what you're making, to what you trimmed. Right?
How much do you determine how to offset?
A lot of that's on your forging. I mean, that's all going to depend on how far up this branch you start sweetening it up. Because when you sweeten it up, you got to flatten it back out, which is good. It's all length. So, I mean, I do 1/8 of an inch. A lot of people do a 1/16. Some people do 3/16.
You do 1/8 of an inch on front and behind?
Yeah. That's just rule of thumb is what I do.
Now with using the cleft to frog to heels, if you have really narrow heel foot, will you go wider than what that
Well,
is?
you got to break the system at some point. I mean,
You got
this isn't dead nuts going to fit every foot you ever walk up to. If he's got an injury and this foot breaks in way here, you know, naturally, this isn't all going to match up. You know what I'm saying?
Use that, that's going to put your toe
Yeah.
too far up.
Just a good average basic foot. This is a good starting spot. The more you do this, you're going to say, well, that's a little tight last time, so I'm going to go a little extra from what this goes.
Now will that work on a hind foot too?
Yeah, it's pretty close.
Okay.
It's going to work. We got a foot we can measure. Where's Jimbo? Jim! Eleven 3/4, so 1.5 inches. See, that's about, where's that front shoe we made at? It's a little big, that's 11 3/4, that's 12. But that's 1.5 inches, so if we close that up a little bit, we're in the ballpark. But look, 1.5 inches is what that, from the cleft of that to that's gonna measure, right there. So you're gonna make from there to there is gonna be 1.5 inches. Does that make sense? Because it's balanced. I mean, it's not always going to work because some feet aren't balanced, but it's a starting spot. Yeah, it's just another thing. See how wide? It's this toe. It's all cut up. I don't know how well that'll work, but it's still measuring 1.5 inches, and if you follow that straight up, that's where your toenail is going to be. You know, just right through there. This is the center, right? That's where this is going to go. So that's where you can pick your toenail widths. Y'all understand that? All right. That's just a good guideline to start. There's going to be 1,000 ways that it doesn't work. But it's a good spot to start on the basic horseshoe. I'm going to explain the toe deal we were talking about just a second ago. Turning the branch. As soon as it starts bending, you got to quit bumping. I was just looking to, you know, just checking my toe bend.
But do you want it touching from
Yeah,
both sides
I
all the
kind of
way
want it
down?
at the same point, you know, from my toe.
One side touch, one side not. One
Right.
side 2,000 feet open.
See, if I just go right here and start trying to pull that down to turn my branch, it just sucked all that straight down. See how it bent that right there? Because you're just locking your hand, so it just took all that toe that we put in there out. Right? So you're going to spend the whole time trying to get all this brought back up so you can do something with it. And then you're going to go right back to that spot and do it again. And it's going to pull it right back down again. So just, I think you need to come back here. Come to where your quarters are at, maybe just this side of it, and start turning. When you get there, you can straighten it back out. Does that make sense?
You sometimes have to put the shoe around, push that back,
What do you mean?
hold over here and push down over there sometimes.
You could do that, or just what I did, just grab it here and pull it up,
Okay.
hitting off of this side, the center line of the anvil, and then dropping it back down.
Okay.
Then you can just get the nice flow back in your toe. But I think everybody starts right here too quick. They come right there and just start turning it that way. Move your body over a little bit and turn the horseshoe. Everybody understand that? That's a big problem I see a lot of people doing. Turning shoes sideways on the anvil. Onto the horn, this center punch mark is just here because I don't want the bend over here, so I don't want this back over here. Right? So this center punch mark is going just up to the center line. And that's where I'm setting the toe at. Because I want to bend the toe, I don't want the bend out here. Does that make sense? Like right there, if I was going to bring this up there, that's going to be right there. My toenail mark right there, or starting my footer is what this is.
It'll be less dramatic. You just hit a little bit further away from the horn.
Yeah, you can start out here if you want to draw it to you. You just start out here and just suck it up. It's the same thing. Yeah, you're still just going to come here. You don't have to be exactly 90 with it, but you know, just you don't want to have a bunch of daylight right here to start turning here because it's going to drag this down to the horn, right? Because it wants to bend on the center line of the fulcrum of the anvil. This is fulcrum, right? And it wants to bend just this side of center line. It's not bending here, it's bending right here. So if you go here, it's going to start bending that. It's going to drag it down.
Which side of the fulcrum line?
It's going to bend on this side.
Okay.
Same thing if it's here. It's not bending on this side, it's bending right here on this side of the line. It's always going to bend on the back side of the point. Again, I'm going to do my boxing right here real quick. You see how it's all out of whack right there? Put that back on me, please. See that? When I turn this branch, I can clean that all up at the same time. Especially like the Journeyman Classic Convention. I don't want to have to go back and think about that because you're disqualified if he doesn't have it, right? So just put that on there right when you put your heel on there, it's done. Then when I'm turning my branch, it's a hammer finish class. I'm getting all that back out of it. And I can forge it back flat. And it's done and it's clean. And it's just one step, less step that I don't have to worry about. I don't think this shoe got bumped, so. Yeah, it's probably just takes a little bit extra effort. I'm just gonna hit him just the distance that I want, which is, what, 2/3 the stock is what you're supposed to have? Right, Josh? See, if I lean that footer out real hard right there, I'm gonna be way deep, aren't I?
It'll blow your tree set.
Huh?
It'll blow your tree set too, won't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is gonna blow it out. See there, I'm driving that fuller where I can get it up in there.